back to the Mentoring Connections. I'm your host, Someshwar Singh, but feel free to call me Kevin. Thank you for tuning in on the fifth episode of the Mentoring Connections. And today we're here with my co-host and friend, Georgios Misaloris.
Thank you for the introduction, Kevin. Hello, everybody. My name is Georgios Misaloris. Most people just call me George. Like Kevin said, you are watching the Mentoring Connections with BMI and MBK. It certainly has been a while, but we're back from our unofficial quote unquote hiatus, and we are back better and stronger than ever. And we're confident with today's episode. We're confident with all of our episodes, but with this one, we got a great show planned for you guys, and we're super, super pumped up for it. And as you can see, my co-host Kevin once again was insistent on showing me up today because you can see his amazing looking suit, and I am in a hoodie once again. But yeah, I guess this is just going to be a recurring theme, my constant battle with the microphone and his constant showing me up. Not that I'm complaining. But yeah, with us today, we have two phenomenal people as our guests. They are highly motivated, very educated, and passionate about what they do. In this corner, weighing so-and-so pounds, wearing the red boxing gloves, we have the magnificent, meritorious, and methodical Mohammed Khan. And in this corner, weighing so-and-so pounds with the blue boxing gloves, I love red and blue, we have the notably noble and naturalistic Naji Berry. Hello, gentlemen. How are you today?
We're doing
I'm pretty
good.
good, thank you.
No problem.
How are you guys doing today?
We're doing very well. Like I said earlier, we were sort of on hiatus due to some circumstances, but we're back, and we're looking forward to today's episode. Kevin, how's everything with you?
Everything is going great so far, George. The week just started. I have an exam tomorrow, actually. So right after the show, I'll be on the books, um, going over everything that I possibly can to get prepared for this exam, because this is the first exam since school started technically for me. But I'll definitely hit it out the ballpark with it and put down my best foot and put everything into this exam. What about you? How's everything going so far, and how's the week going so far for you?
For me, everything's been going really well. I have my first oral presentation tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to that. Speeches are always fun. I recently dropped the class for specific reasons, but I feel like I did make the right decision. It was for the best. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that's going on, or everything notable that happened this week. Mohammed, Naji, what are some new things or new developments in your life that you would like to share with everybody?
I'm kind of excited for the next 2 weeks from now because I'm getting that big paycheck. I've been working 30 hours last week. I just can't wait for that money. So everything's been good. It's been good.
Nice.
Definitely
Swag.
understood. I well, I don't remember the exact day that I received my first paycheck, but it was definitely a great feeling to see that reward at the end of the week. Well, it was more like bi-weekly, but it was great to see that, all that hard work that you put in showed up to like something that could benefit you, even though like networking and helping out people is very, very beneficial. But like seeing that reward really puts the feeling there for you. But
It really
Naji,
does.
how was your week?
My week's going pretty good. I recently applied for a program that's being launched by Howard University. It's for social justice. It's giving out early credit. Um, I believe next week Wednesday is my SAT, so practicing for that. Hopefully, I'll do good. I'll do better. Yeah.
For sure, for
Awesome.
sure. Um, did you guys notice a reoccurring theme here, or what a reoccurring date? It's Wednesdays, right? I noticed that too because I have the first exam tomorrow, which is a Wednesday. George has the first oral presentation, which is a Wednesday, and Naji has his SATs on a Wednesday. So
Yeah.
it's definitely going to be a good day for all three of us. And Mohammed will be getting, well, I doubt he'll be getting his check on a Wednesday, but he's gonna be there with us, supporting us all the way. But today, here on the Mentoring Connections, our two guests, Mohammed and Naji, is a part of the My Brother's Keepers Fellow Program, or short for MBK. Um, Guys, what is the MBK Fellows Program, and how are you guys involved with it?
So I feel like the MBK program, fellows program, is kind of like a fraternity because you're surrounded by brothers that you've never met before, but being in this group with them, you feel like more closer, as in a family bond to them, and you can really show off your leadership skills in like creating different community service events or like just helping out your community in general.
Yes, I totally agree with Muhammad. When I first started, I didn't really know much about it, but once I started getting more familiar with it, it wasn't being represented a lot. Well, once I got into it, it felt like more of a organization, like a fraternity that they have in colleges and stuff. So it really broadened my view.
Interesting. Would you two mind sort of describing basically what is an MBK fellow, as in like what are the characteristics of somebody who's in this program, what's expected of you, and what are the virtues of an MBK fellow, if you could describe them?
So I feel like some like key characteristics would be having a strong leadership and dedication.
Mm,
Don't get me wrong, I love this type of work, but sometimes some days it will get hard and you have to have that dedication to like continue no matter what. So I feel like you should have that strong leadership whilst also having a good dedication and strong will to um be an MBK fellow.
nice. Naji?
Yeah. They like fellows. I've heard they like kind of like a beacon for social networking because they basically are used to represent uh MBK with like in certain meetings and stuff. I remember last year I went to a couple gatherings when we and I didn't even know MBK was a part of other schools, but what it was. And me and Mr. Parker, who brought me into MBK, we met up with other MBK fellows. So yeah, I guess a MBK fellow is like a high ranking member, if you say.
Nice.
Definitely. That's a great example of explaining what it is and how you're affiliated with it, basically. Um, so to my recognition, I I understood that each MBK fellow program, or once it's associated with a school, they have specific projects that they do in like their community or within the school, um, to better the school and their surroundings, of course. Um, how are you guys affiliated with that? And what's a specific, well, if you guys have a specific project that you're working with in your school, what it is and how is that going so far?
Thank you for that question. And I feel like in our school, in my school specifically, we have different community service projects that are with MBK, but it's in a part of the fellow community service project, in which in our MBK chapter during this was pre-COVID, during Thanksgiving and Christmas break, we would go to uh a elderly home and feed the elderly, party with them, make them feel good because they didn't really have that much people to like be there for them for this special time. So we decided to be the people to go there, have fun with them, learn about their backstories and all that. And then some others would be for me, for an example, when I got my first check in July, I gave back to my community by having custom made MBK masks and giving it out to the elderly to make sure that they're safe during this COVID environment.
Wow, that's actually a very, very good deed. And I feel like we're gonna need more people like you in our communities. Um, Naji, how is uh are you also affiliated with the same program as Mohammed, or are you part of a new program or a different program?
With MBK when I was in 10th grade last year before pandemic and the quarantine and everything, we did this one community service thing when we did Read Alliance, and we went to middle schools and elementary schools, and we read the kids that needed help reading. So it was me and there was a bunch of other MBK members that were also a part of my school, and I felt very fortunate because that was also a school that my brothers went to. So I felt like I really did more than just be a student. Yeah.
Because there was a root implanted in the school already for you, so it's like a second home kind of. Um,
Basically,
Something that both of you mentioned, that when you were explaining about the MBK fellows program, was that the word you used was like fraternity.
mm,
And something that George and I are a part of is an academic fraternity at your college also. And we are both the vice presidents as of right now. um, so a part of our fraternity is that we do something similar to that you guys did. So sorry, not last fall. I believe in fall of 2019, we had like a we were trying to give back to our community and try to provide community service in any way, shape, or form. And it was around Thanksgiving when we were all inducted into this academic fraternity. It's called Pi Eta Kappa. And since we were inducted like late fall and it was almost Thanksgiving, we decided not to go into the like soup kitchens or the elderly homes, but instead to do a can drive. So we collected all the cans with of food, of course, and then we donated it to those soup kitchens that needed it during that time. And yeah, that's what it reminded me of when you guys were describing what does the MBK fellow program look like and what's a project that you guys were doing in school at that time.
May I add something, Kevin?
Go ahead.
Thank you. And yeah, just like you said, due to the circumstances, we were sort of forced to do our community service project in a specific way. And of course, COVID isn't really making it easier to continue on with that, but we still plan to do something like visit a soup kitchen or do something like that when um, when we're able to, because we're still a part of the fraternity and we want to be able to give back to the community. Now, Mohammed and Naji, you mentioned a lot of great things. You, the two of you mentioned things about community service, and it might seem obvious to us because we're all of us are affiliated with some fellowship or brotherhood or fraternity program. But for those who are watching, um, you know, some people might not understand the value of community service or giving back to the community. Can the two of you talk about what you've learned specifically from community service, being able to be there for people, tending to their needs, giving back to the community? What value do the two of you think this offers to the people who do it?
So, in my opinion, I feel like community service really helps out with like obviously the community and stuff, but you also get that like special feeling inside that you're doing something progressive for the community. You're helping their needs. You're tending to them. You get that special heartwarming feeling, like like a heartwarming sitcom on TV. You get that special feeling, and I feel like more people should be able to feel that way, because seeing the happiness of you being there for people when you don't have to be is just a really good thing to experience.
you managed to phrase it in more clear words than I ever could. It's what I like to call the Full House effect, because in all the sitcoms that I still love to watch, Full House is the one that sort of captures that like sort of warm sentimentality the most. And yeah, that's absolutely a component of it. And thank you for mentioning that, Naji.
Yeah, I couldn't have explained it any better than brother Muhammad. You know, I
Mhm.
admire the way that he said it, the way he phrased it, and like when I was doing the reading lines thing, what I was told by the principal is that we didn't really realize it at the time, but the kids that we would help reading, well, help like focus in class and stuff, they want to do what we do. So it was like we were being role models for them. So that was like a heartwarming sitcom. So, yeah.
Nice, glad to hear it. Um, I guess just to be fair, Kevin, I think you and I should speak a little bit about the value of community service. I guess I'll go first. Community service is it's an integral part of the fraternity fellowship experience for me, because it's exactly like what Mohammed said, being able to be there and help people. It feels good to, know that you've played your part in helping the community, being able to give back to the community, being a model citizen, and supporting the place where you are and supporting the people that, are in that community with you. Anything to add, Kevin?
Definitely, I'd like to add to that. You guys basically explain like what is a community service and the importance of it. So now I'll give an example of something that I was a part of, which is kind of like community service. So I don't remember the which summer it was, but it was during a summer. I was a part of this program where we had went to elderly home, a nursing home. I believe it was in the city, if I'm not wrong. But we went to the home, and it was early in the morning. It was semi early in the morning, earlier to lunch, and we did this thing called Meals on Wheels. Have anyone ever heard about that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have.
absolutely.
Yeah. So what Meals on Wheels is basically is it's a part of the nursing homes already, but since we were trying to do community service, we were helping the nursing homes distribute the food. So we went into the nursing home, they gave us the food and the address that we had to go to, and it was the best feeling, like Muhammad said. So we got the food, we went to the doors, we knocked, and the elderly patient came to the door, and they were so surprised to see like kids doing this, and we would sit there and have like a conversation for like 15 minutes in the corridors, and it was just a great feeling overall, and that's something that I would like to do again. And maybe if I have the chance, I would like to do that again for sure, and maybe take some of my friends along to do that. But that's one of the community service that gave me that feeling inside, like Muhammad said.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing, Kevin. Yeah, I have my own stories with community service. Of course, there's always that great thing we did to donate food to the food pantry to basically help it out, because at that time it was still sort of a new thing. I recently just started working there, and knowing that all of you guys were willing to donate, it just really meant a lot. And even before I came to college, in my senior year of high school, I did some volunteer work at a nursing home near my high school, actually, and it was really, really fun. Getting to know the different elderly people there, helping them out with certain tasks that they try to do, bringing them to lunch, serving them food. It's really, really fulfilling. It's such a nice experience, and it's a great thing that um, mentoring fellowships and fraternities like Pi Eta Kappa and MBK, that we're able to employ, or that we're able to carry out stuff like this to encourage young men, or just people in general, to adopt these great practices and virtues to help everybody else out. But yeah, Mohammed and Naji, one thing I sort of wanted to ask you guys, well, not, what am I saying, sort of, one thing I really wanted to ask you guys was, in terms of a theme, like we have this quote, "We lift as we climb." I wanted to ask the two of you what this means to you. Can you share a little bit about the meaning or the significance behind this quote and what it makes you guys think of?
So for me, I feel like we lift as we climb basically stands for with every achievement you make, you try to bring someone else up to that level with you, like leaving nobody behind in a sense.
Nice.
Yeah,
Naji?
yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's good. I couldn't agree more. I also believe that as you lift, you can bring other people up. No, as you climb, you can bring other people up. You could like give them or show them opportunities. You could lift them as far as they'll allow you to lift them. And as you climb, you go high enough, and they see, and they could also go as high as you are. You know, and it's like a chain reaction. When you go up, you lift others, they can also go up and lift others with them. So I think that's what MBK is really all about. You can go up and lift up everybody in your community as well.
Interesting. I have to ask because you guys touched upon it a little bit. Could you don't have to mention any names if you don't want to, but um, basically, can you guys give us and the audience some examples of instances where the two of you might have had to lift other people up or encourage other people, or basically like keep the team together and basically that kind of stuff, with both of your experiences with this program?
Yes, during my freshman year, they were other friends that I knew they were noble enough, and I was like, you seem like you're organized enough person. You can come and join MBK, and it can give you more of a professional experience, the type of experience that I've been shown. I wanted to present that to them in order to help them. We, in case they didn't know about it before, and now the two friends that I introduced into it have introduced other people, and even people that are older than them and in higher grade, and they are now like they went to one of the meetings that I went to that I mentioned earlier, and they're still in it. I believe to this day. Yep.
Nice. So basically, like somebody helping someone else out has like really long-term effects and benefits, and that's really, really
Yep.
cool to see. Mohammed, anything to add or to share with your
I,
experience?
I definitely agree with my brother Naiji. Currently I have a junior that wants to become a fellow, so I always like try to help him out, teach him the ropes, and show him like jobs that you do during the fellowship, such as leadership, public speaking skills, etc.
Nice. Kevin, anything to add?
Um, so I was thinking back to when I was in high school and correlating it to now. So when I was in high school, towards my end of my senior year, because this happened towards the end of my senior year because we finished with all the exams and it was more lenient, and we had more spare time than earlier in the earlier in senior year. So my friends and I had this group where we stayed back after school, and we were establishing like a tutoring squad kind of. We didn't have a specific name at the time, but the goal of this tutor squad kind of was to help the juniors and the sophomores of the high school to like prepare for what's to come, like stuff that we've been through, if they want to talk about it, if they have any experiences that they're going through that they need to express themselves, because we felt like for a student to reach out to a teacher or a professor, it was more hard for them to do that than reaching out directly to a peer. And also, we were working with the school psychologist. So if there was any instances where the circumstance becomes some too high where we couldn't um, establish a solution for it because we're not professionals, of course, we would have the psychologist get involved with it because she was a professor there also, and we were very close with her. So she tried to help out with our program as much as she could. But definitely, having these kids who's below you in grade wise look up to you and try to seek your help was definitely something that I look forward to, and I was more than happy to help out at the end of the day. What about you, George? Did you have any high school experience or college experience where you had to help out a certain student, maybe something along the lines of mentoring, anything?
Yeah, so many experiences. Well, specifically, most of my experiences I could talk to. What am I saying? Yeah, I'm really excited for today's episode. Can you guys tell? But yeah, most of the experiences I can recount in terms of basically what you said, um, basically boiled down to college, because college was really where I started to come out of my shell, and I was sort of exposed to all this mentoring stuff, and I met so many people who always encouraged me. And, the gist of what I have to say in regards to that is, basically, I'm surrounded by so many people on a daily basis, even now, even though we're not physically like near each other, even though we're not really meeting up in person anymore due to the circumstances. Um, the fact that we all still work together, the fact that we still maintain contact with each other online, the fact that we still have regular staff meetings and we still coordinate with each other, that we still encourage each other to do better and constantly improve and to reach new heights with our academic in our academic life, and that we're also here to listen to each other if we're going through something personally. Because in addition to being coworkers and mentors, we're also really good friends. And just being a part of this community and reaching out with other people who are part of their own communities, like Mohammed and Naji, just reaching out and having these types of discussions, it's really, really edifying, and it just really speaks volumes to me about the stuff that we're able to do. But yeah, do you have any thing you want to comment on based on what I said, or Mohammed or Naji? Take it away.
If not, I'll add on to what George has to say, but you guys go ahead first.
The things that George has been saying really resonated with me, and I feel great pride in being in MEK because it gave me this opportunity to be on here, and it also showed me a lot of things that are within reach, and that has given me the experience. So I very much agree.
Perfect. What about you, Mohammed?
What resonated me the most is like you guys' commitments are like very similar to mine and Nige's. It's like we're all like dedicated to helping the community and such.
For sure.
Awesome.
And now I would like to add on to what George was saying. And a part of all, I think we could all relate to this, a part of who we are today and the programs that we're involved with. Um, it all started off with this one specific person, and that's Dr. Jonathan Quash. And he's, with his opportunities that he provided to us, uh, gave us all this platform that we could share our thoughts and have this conversation on. So we'll start off with Mohammed and Naiji first, and then we'll go over to George. So since both of you have been having like close relations with Dr. Quash on the workforce side, what's something that you've learned from him, and how is his leadership skills with all this program?
So what I learned from him is that communication and speaking up for yourself is key. I used to like accept whatever work is being asked of me, no matter like what the situation was, even if I was busy. But now, like I'm able to say like, no, this doesn't fit my time. All that, I'm less stressed, and really like communication is like the best key possible.
Yeah. With me, when I first got in contact with Dr. Quash, I actually kind of missed his email, but then I started, yeah, and then I started communicating back with him. So I realized like consistency, and I realized how schedule is very important. So
Yeah, Dr. Quash is one of the most punctual people you'll ever meet. And it, just really speaks volumes about the, just how amazing of a leader he is, how good at coordinating he is, and how good at encouraging other people he is. Because, if it weren't for Dr. Quash, Kevin and I wouldn't be here right now. Well, I mean, I can't speak for him, because, his life is different from mine, but I can speak for myself when I say, if it wasn't for Dr. Quash, I would not be here right now. I would not be in front of this camera right now doing this show. I would not be a part of the Men's Center. I would not be doing a lot of stuff. Really, I cannot imagine how different my life would be if I never met Dr. Quash and I never became part of this fraternity and I never started working at the Men's Center. My life would be way different. And, thank God I did, meet him. And, he was able to encourage me to, push forward and become better. But yeah, Kevin, anything to add?
Definitely, this is one of the topics that I have a lot to add on to.
Mhm.
Just like you said, my life would be totally different if I didn't meet Dr. Quash and he didn't provide me with the opportunity. It all started off with being a member of PEK. That's how I got affiliated with the Men's Center. Um, so when it came to my personality type, I was the quiet type. So like my life before meeting Dr. Quash was it was my first semester at your college. So go to class, um, then I would have like a small break and then go to second class. And then as soon as class finished, um, I wouldn't even stay back in the college and chat with my friends whatsoever. Hop on the bus and come straight home. That's it. Like I was involved in like these extracurricular activities or programs for a matter of fact. So after we met, I took the initiation for Pi Eta Kappa, got into that, and that's where it all started. And that's when Dr. Quaj kept on providing me with all these opportunities and platforms to put myself out there. And one of the key things that the Men's Center and Dr. Quaj really helped with was public speaking. Like you would think that I have public speaking experience, which I do, but when it always comes down to that last second when you know your name's about to call to like go make a statement on stage or a speech on stage, like my heart would start pounding. It still happens, but it's not to that extent now because like I'm more comfortable doing it. And when there was like certain events, one of the other person who helped with it was Aaron. He would work very closely with Dr. Quash, and they would be like, "Oh, Kevin, it's your turn. You have to go speak now." I'm like, "Me?" Like on the spot, just like that. But my experience with Dr. Quash has been phenomenal, and we're definitely gonna add on to that experience.
Awesome. Yeah. Um, Now, to move a little forward, um, in terms of like what your sorry, I should be specific, Mohammed and Naji, in terms of your interactions with Dr. Quash, what are some of the things, like if you could like pinpoint a few specific things that the two of you learned so far when interacting with him and also maybe interacting with us, and basically learning about our program as we learned about your program. Do you have any interesting takeaways as to the stuff that you two have learned?
You can go, Nige. My bad.
Thank well, to kind of summarize it, I've learned consistency, and I've learned organize organization works best with a team. uh that's basically, well, that's not it, but that's one of the most important things I've learned. Yep. Muhammad.
What I learned or take away from this is that opportunity is always by the door. You just gotta like capture it.
Perfect.
Nice, very concise.
It's short and sweet. And so a basic summary of what we've been over so far, and yeah, basically what we've been over so far. So I have some notes that I wrote down. So I wrote the purpose of the MBK, My Brother's Keepers program, is to provide high schoolers with an emphasis on boys and young men of color with opportunity to gain an authentic leadership experience and develop service projects beneficial to their schools and communities. So that's on the I believe MBK website. So that's where I got that from. And that's basically what we covered so far. And speaking about MBK, before we move on, in the fall of 2019, George and I had this experience where we had worked directly with John Brown High School MBK fellows. And we went to the school. It was a great experience because the kids, well, the students, sorry, not kids, the students had this, they provided, I don't know if that's the correct word I'm looking for here, but they helped with our experience and they made us want to do it again. But unfortunately, we didn't have the chance to go back. And maybe that's something that we'll get in touch with and we'll try to work on that. But I'll share with you guys two pictures that we took from that day. And you could see the enjoyment in everyone's face, the excitement, stuff like that. So over here, the first one, and then sorry, let me move this aside. And it was a very big group of kids that we worked with. So on my left, we see um Aaron Samaru back here and Emmanuel right here. And George and I are on this side right here. And that was the group that we worked with that day. That was a great, very, very great day. And the second image is right here. And I believe George had made that sign that says, "My brother's keepers." Um, George is an amazing artist, by the way. So
May I say something, Kevin?
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I appreciate the shout out. You're always full of kind words. Unfortunately, though, I did not make that sign. I think you're thinking of the drawings that I made on the board for the students, for Mohammed and Naji, and also people in the audience. I don't know if you guys are big fans of Dragon Ball Z, but just like to put a smile on their faces, I drew some characters from the show on the board, and they really liked them. I drew Gohan when he went Super Saiyan 2. Sorry, I'm nerding out again, but I really like the show, and that was a really fun day. And when I see this image, I'm always like, this thought always pops into my head. It's like, ladies and gentlemen, we now see the mentors in their natural habitat. Look upon the smiles on their faces. Look how fulfilled and happy they look with their work. It's like one of those nature documentaries where you're sort of looking at yourself, or well, in this case, we're looking at ourselves. And this was just such a really fun day. Speaking to these students, every single one of these students, they really, really impressed me with how interested they were in education and how dedicated they were. I was really impressed this day. And I really look forward to the day we can do something like this again.
Yeah, definitely. And like George was mentioning, I mixed up the drawing with the sign. So I believe they already had the sign there, but George would have did a phenomenal job anyways, making a sign like that. So
Thank you.
also I like to add on before we move on. George is standing closest to this whiteboard right here because that was where the drawing was, if I'm not mistaken. So that's why he's that close to it, because the room was situated the other way around because we took it towards the side of the door. I remember now. But
Very observant.
yeah, moving on from that day, uh George would like to give you guys some great news for all those who are listening today. And before we go on to that news, I'd like to give the York Male Initiative program a shout out to their social medias. So you can find everything we do and all the programs we're affiliated with on Instagram at maleinitiative.official. And you could also find us on Facebook at the Male Initiative programs. So it's not that hard to miss. You're gonna see a background like this on the screens. So definitely go like our stuff, comment, and maybe drop a question if you like, and we'll definitely reach back out to you.
One important thing we should mention is that the social media platforms are run by who else? My amazing co-host Kevin Singh. So he's everywhere basically. He's on the show. He's working with us. He's running our social media platforms, Instagram, and do you run the Facebook as well?
Yeah.
Awesome,
Yes,
nice.
I do post on the Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, because the Instagram one was the one I see the most regularly on my phone. The Facebook one I'm not on as often as the Instagram one, but I was just curious. I didn't know if you did the Facebook one too, but now I know you do, and that's awesome.
Perfect. And now it's that time of the night, well, evening, for your very big news to the audience. So take it away, George.
Absolutely. Thank you for investing me with this honor. So, for everybody watching the show, the Mentoring Connections with BMI and MBK, Kevin and I are the official hosts. There isn't one singular host. It's always been hosted by Kevin and me, or Kevin and I should say, to use proper proper grammar. And we've had a blast. And on almost every single episode we've had, well, pretty much every single episode we've hosted, we've always had guests with us. Some of our guests have, been are people who are closely affiliated with us. It's always somebody affiliated with the Men's Center, and all of our guests are usually, for the most part, people who we know and we talk to on a regular basis because we're all closely affiliated with each other in terms of what we do. And it's been a blast. I feel tremendously privileged to be able to do this with my co-host Kevin. However, we are adding more people to the mentoring family, as well as with our family in the Men's Center. And specifically with this show, Mentoring Connections with BMI and MBK, just to keep repeating the title because that's good radio, as far as I've been told, we will be having two new co-hosts. And those two new co-hosts are who else? Mohammed and Naji, the very people on this call. So it's going to be Kevin, Naji, Mohammed, and me. We're all going to be hosting the show. 4 co-hosts. And it might seem like a lot, but I actually thought it was a lot to begin with. But I actually did some research, and it actually isn't very uncommon to have like 4 people hosting one singular show, especially with podcasts like this. And yeah, we couldn't be happier. Mohammed and Naji, anything to say? Well, I'm sorry, that sounded weird. Do you guys have anything you want to say about like your new status as co-hosts? I guess I should say.
This is just such a surprise. I'd like to thank y'all for the honor of making me co-host for the Mentoring Connection podcast. Thank you.
The pleasure is all ours.
Yes, thank you. Honestly, that wasn't expected, but like I'm very very moved, should I say? Like, you know, I've never really been a part of a radio show like that. So like to be a guest and not only a guest co-host along with brother Muhammad, then it's very, very I just can't put it into words. But thank you. Thank you
You're
so much.
very welcome. Yeah, you're very welcome. We're very pleased to have you guys on the show, not just as guests, but also we're super excited to having you guys as co-hosts. And we're just really looking forward to the types of conversations and the shows that we'll be able to have in the future. Kevin, would you is there anything that I missed that you want to touch upon?
I think we covered the whole agenda for today, and I'll like to say that I'm truly excited to have Mohammed and Naji joining us in the very next episodes and episodes to come, because the different perspectives that we're gonna have on certain topics is just gonna be mind blowing, and I can't wait for that. And make sure everyone who's listening to definitely tune in back and leave a comment if we're live on YouTube or any platform, and we'll definitely have a conversation. Like I said, if you have a question relating to the show, definitely send us a direct message or DM for short on our social medias, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Kevin, do you know how much of an idiot I am? For the longest time, I had no idea what DM meant. Like seriously, no joke. I knew it had something to. I knew
This is
it
the
had
first time
something.
so
Yeah, I knew it had something to do with messages like texting, but I had no idea what the term actually meant. But now that
I was
Kevin,
so
now that you
lost.
said it, like direct messages, I'm like, wow, I'm such an idiot.
No, don't worry about it, George. I think we've all had those days because we tend to use the acronym more than the actual word, so it's stuck in
Yeah.
our brains and it's processed that way now.
Well, I feel like I know like 10 more things than I did 10 seconds ago. But yeah, I guess, well, what am I saying? I'm letting my excitement get to me and I'm fumbling over my words. But yeah, in terms of the show, that's pretty much it for today's episode. It was great having the two of you on, Naji and Mohammed, to basically interview the two of you and introducing you to the audience. It was great discussing mentoring and also our respective affiliations with our fellowship programs, Pi Eta Kappa and MBK. And yeah, I'm just really hopeful and optimistic for what the future holds for all of us. Do you guys have any final thoughts before we close out for the day?
Nothing really. I'm just like excited to be on your podcast for as a co-host next time. Thank you.
Nice.
Yes, very same. Thank you so much. It was nice having this with you all.
Likewise. Kevin?
So
Okay.
that's it for, on my behalf for tonight, and definitely looking forward to upcoming episodes with all three of you, and I can't wait for it.
Have a great day, everybody.
And thank you for tuning into the Mentoring Connections.
Hey, we did good. We did good.